Hey guys, welcome to the Data Tech channel. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. In today's video, we're going to talk about the commonly used Linux commands by data engineers or analysts. No matter if you are a data engineer or an analyst, at some point we need these Linux commands because in real world situations, we always have applications or data sets which are sitting on Linux machine. So having understanding of these Linux commands would always help you a lot in your daily task. So without further ado, let's start. So here's the list of the Linux commands which I personally used a lot on my day-to-day basis. But this list can, depending on data engineers' roles or depending on your roles, this list could increase. But I believe these are very commonly used Linux commands by data engineers. So how we will proceed in this video, I'm going to give a brief information or a introduction about the commands, and then we'll do a quick demo for that. So we'll go back and forth with this sheet and to our Linux terminal. So the first command is pwd. Pwd stands for print working directory, and basically it is the first command which I always use to find out the absolute path of the current working directory, of my current working directory. And it's very helpful because sometimes to avoid any mistake and to be sure we are in the right directory, it's always recommended to use pwd before doing anything. So let's jump to the our Linux terminal. Okay, this is our Linux terminal. Okay, so let me do one thing. Okay, I cleared it. So the first thing I'll do, pwd. So it tells me I'm in the in my home directory, in the DataTech demo directory of the home directory. Okay, so which is always good because sometimes, let's say you change the directory and as I mentioned, you want to be 100% sure where you are. Okay, so the next command is the next command is ls. The ls is to list the contents of a folder, and I use it with the -la option to see the hidden and more details about it, more details about the files in the folder. So let's go back to our terminal and let's do ls. If we do ls, so you see we are seeing there are three files there: test.txt, test2.txt, test3.txt, but not much detail. So that's why I was saying I always use it with -la. If you don't do a option, you can go with L2, then you will see the more details about these three files, like who's the owner, what kind of permission, which group, when we created, all those kind of information. But why I always recommend using LA, because there are some hidden files which we can't see, and sometimes we want to know about them. So for example, batsrc is one of those files which it's a hidden, and if you don't do -a option, you won't see it, and you might see, oh, the file doesn't exist. So this is another command which I use very often. Let's go back. The next one is cd, which stands for change directory, and as the name suggests, cd command is used to change our current directory to some it could be to a parent directory or some other folder. In simple word, it moves us to a new directory in the file system. So if you look, so if we do pwd, we are in this, but if we do cd ... it take us it take us to the parent directory. And if you do pwd here, so see, we are in the home directory. And now if you want to go back, so we can do we can give the complete path if we want, or we can even give the DataTech demo because we are in the home directory itself. So if we do this, and after that we do probably do, so you see, so we change our directory. It helps to change the directory. And cd ... is to go to a parent directory. And if you do see, we can go to the root directory, or if we know the absolute path, we can go from one directory to other in the file system. So let's look at the next command. The next command is mkdir, which stands for make directory. And as the name suggests, like it is used to create new directories. So if we do -flsla, so you will find, okay, let's do -l just to see. So you can see that we have 3 files in there, but no directory. But we can create a new directory. Let's say we can do mkdir, and I'm just giving it a name cuckoo, enter. And if we do -l, so you see there is a directory named cuckoo. So this is to create directory. And the next command is in the list is the cat. So cat is used to print the content of a file directly into the standard output or the screen. But it can also be used for some other purposes. So the other one is to combine or to merge 2 files. Okay, so let's look very quickly. Let me clear it again. And let's do ls-l. So you see we have 3 files there, test, test2, test3. So these are the 3 files, and if we want to see the content of it, so we can do very quickly test. And I have like some random stuff in it, so very simple. You can see Unix is great. So in the test.txt, you will find like I have these kind of like this is the content of Unix test.txt. And if we want, we can see the content of test2.txt, and which is like, yeah, I just created a copy, so it's pretty same. But I was talking about like you can merge 2 files too. So let's do one thing. Let's do cat merge both files. So we do test.txt, test.2.txt, and test4.txt, enter, and ls. So you see the 4th file is there, and if we do the cat, it should have the content merged from test and test2.com. So you can see that. Yeah, so it's okay, very quickly clear. Now we jump to the next one. So next one is the head and tail. So the head command is to give us the first 10 lines of the file, but we can, like, that's the default value we get, but we can override the default value by using the -n flag or the parameter. And the tail is pretty same too. The tail exactly same as head, but it gives us the last 10 lines instead of the first 10 lines. So let's go very quickly. So I'll do head -n2 tests.txt. So you see it gives us only first 2 lines, and if I change this to tail, enter, it gives us the last 2 lines. If you remember from that, like we can see just to be sure, like what's the content. So the first 2 lines are this, we can see from here, and this is the last 2 lines. And if we don't use, like for example, if we don't use -n2 here, enter. So you see, as I was mentioning, like it gives you the first 10 lines, but like our file is small, we don't have 10 lines, so it's giving us everything. Okay, now let's go to the next command. So the next command is the pipe command. So the pipe command is one of the most powerful command in Linux because it lets us redirect the output of one command to another. So basically it allows us to chain multiple commands together. Okay, so what we can do here, how we can use it, I'm just thinking very okay, this one we can like I was thinking, okay, so I'll give you one basic example, but I'll show you like one good one with the grep Linux command. Okay, so here we can do test for pipe head hyphen n2. Let's do 4. So here you see that like in the head command we didn't pass the file name. It's actually taking the output of this, the cat test4.txt file as a input to this command. And that's I was mentioning, like we like the pipe command allow us to redirect the output of one command as an input for the other one. So here whatever the content of test4.txt act as an output for a head command, and you can see we didn't pass the file name here. Okay, now the next one is the grep. Grep is basically is to search string or words in the file. Okay, so let's do this very quickly. If we do grep code, let's say do Unix and test4.txt. So you see there is nothing, like we didn't see any output. So what that means is like Unix does not exist in test4.txt, but you will be like, okay, we can see Unix there, but I use the capital U instead of the lowercase u, and grep is a case sensitive. So to remove that case sensitiveness, we can use option of -i with this, and let's do this. And now you can see like all the statements which have Unix in this file are populated here. So grep is used to find this, and we can also use like regular expressions in it. So we're not going to do that today, but like that's the idea, just to tell like, okay, with grep we can search for string, words, or patterns in our file. Okay, next is the seed, and seed stands for like stream editor. It is used to do search and replace specific string in the text or a file. So basically what this is like so grep is the find function which we see a lot in our Windows system, but seed is like find and replace function kind of thing. So if we do seed, then s, so this is the format. So we start with s, and then we tell, okay, which string we want to replace. So we say, let's say we replace Unix with Linux. Done. And we want to do it on, let's say we do it in test.txt. Okay, 1 second. Unterminated, 1 second. Let me history check. Let me check the history. 1 second. Yeah, got it. So my bad, there was a syntax. Yeah, I was checking history just to, so you see everything was Unix prior, now it's changed to Linux. Okay, so it's as I was mentioning, it is like a find and replace kind of feature. The next command we have on the list is du. So this is basically to find the disk usage. Du stand for disk usage, like it's to find the disk usage summary of a directory and its subdirectory. And believe me, it's very handy in terms of let's say you are, let me show you like how it works. So for example, if I do du and enter, you say, okay, what is this, like it doesn't make sense. So we have to always use with -h option, which is like make it more human readable, which tells you, okay, what's the size. So now we can see the folder with the name cuckoo is 4K. Some hidden folders are there, which is also like 4K, 8K, and our current directory is 52K. So I was telling you where it is very handy or useful. This like it is very handy and useful if you are using an edge node to interact with HDFS. So it always help me to find the size of the HDFS files and if they are partitioned well and all. So this is very helpful there. Like in HDFS, I found it very helpful. Okay, the next command is history. So history is, as the name suggests, is just give us the history of all the commands, and you will be worried why it's so important. Like sometime what happens, like we don't remember we could remember the comments, but we don't know the path of things, or we might have done something which we wanna double check, okay, what we did, or those kind of stuff. And some environments, people use service accounts. So service account is used for the production environment. So you want to check, like if you're admin, you want to check, like, okay, what commands were run using the service command. So this is where it plays, it gets handy. And sometimes if we are not using it very often, we forget the commands, or we forget at least like the options and all those kind of things. So I always use history to see what I was used to do, and I'll pick it from there. And you saw that I made a mistake, and I was like, okay, what I'm doing wrong for the seed command. I literally look into the history and get to know, okay, I'm making a comment mistake there. Okay, the next command is whoami. And whoami is very simple command which tells you who is the current user logged into it. And you will be like, okay, why that's very critical, like that's why this is so useful. So as I was mentioning, is in real world, like you have production environments are different than your dev environments. In dev environments, you log in with your IDs, but in production environments, we use service IDs or account application IDs or special privileged IDs, like depending on the organization. Every organizations call them differently. So there it's very important, because there could be multiple application IDs associated with your team. So you want to be 100% sure, okay, which application ID I'm using. It's just like a quality check. Like it's for QC, more like having a more just to be sure, like you're not making any mistake there, like you're not using a wrong account and all those. So that's where it comes handy. And the last one, not the last one, the last three are okay. So CP is like just to as it stands for copy, and is like basically copy one content to another, like from one file to another. So I can do very quickly. Let me clear this. Enter ls-l again. So we have 4 files here. So what I'll do, I'll create a copy of test.txt and name it as test5. So cat test.txt, enter. Oh, sorry, my bad. I use cat instead of cp. So let me replace this. Okay, and now if you do -ls, so you see the test 5, and let's do the. So here we already see this is the test.txt. Now we can do test5.txt, enter. So it shows us the content of test5, and we can see they both are same. Okay. The other one was the remove. Is just remove, as the name says, like RM stands for remove. Remove is just to remove any file. So we can do one thing very quickly. We can remove test5. Just go there, RM, enter, and if we do -lsl, so you see the test5 is removed. But this I recommend always to use this command very carefully. And in production environments, like you need to set something in your .bash rc, just so like when you're removing, you get a pop-up, you saw that it removed without any pop-up or without any warning. So that's why it's like you need to be cautious. If you have like admin permissions, like you still need to be very cautious, like you don't remove it accidentally. Like you don't want to remove any file which is important or critical. So that's why like in your .bash rc you need to set something so you get at least a warning before deleting something, so like you don't delete anything accidentally. I know like I just mentioned it, but I didn't mention like which setting you need to do. .bash rc we are not talking. I was just telling you like if you have this kind of situation, just Google it and change your setting in .bash/rc, because sometimes what happens, we accidentally delete critical documents. Okay, and the last one is to move, basically move file from one folder to another, but I use that a lot to rename things. So if we do ls-l, so let's rename test5 to test4 to test5. So I'll do test4.txt, test5.txt, enter. So you see test4, like it's actually moved the file, but I say it like, okay, it renamed it. So I basically use it to rename stuff. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much for today, and these are the comments, as I was mentioning, these are the comments which I use personally a lot. But if you guys have other comments or like which you guys use in your day-to-day life, just let me know, and we can put them in the comment sections, and we'll see if we have like something in common, or otherwise like if you guys have something which I'm not using, I want to love to learn those commands too. So that's all for today. Be safe.